Hey guys, I'm back with another tutorial, and today I'm going to be working with polymer clay. It's been a while since I've done a polymer clay tutorial, but I decided that I was going to make an ornament for my cousins because they have completed their family by having their second child. So I was going to make them a family ornament, and it is, of course, as you can see, it is a fireplace with 4 stockings, and then each stocking has their name on it. So just to start off, all of the clays I'm using are Sculpey. I might not remember all of the names just because I've had this clay for over a year, so some of them definitely needed to be really worked into to get them back up and running, especially this clay is a granite. I think it's called granite from Sculpey, and that one was really, it like had cracks in it and stuff like that. It's very dried out. So, but some of the, basic colors were really great. But anyways, so the first thing I did was, as you saw, I just made a big piece of black, and then I'm just going to build on top of that. So now I'm going to make the sides of the fireplace, and this is more of a, I would say, a modern slash rustic fireplace because of the granite, and then on the top it's a big chunk of wood. So yeah, if those two things go together, I don't know. But so I'm just going to cut 2 pieces exactly the same size, and that will be the sides. And this clay is, I really like this granite because when you put the, what's it called? The varnish or the shellac or whatever on top of it, it really like brings out the sparkle in it. It's so pretty. So I'm just going to make 2 pieces exactly the same size. And then I'm going to bring the black piece back and put the granite pieces on top. And I have the clay already on a piece of parchment just because at the end it might be a little bit delicate. So I just find it's easier just to have it already on the parchment. And I also don't mind using it for other purposes just because I don't want to get my table all, And some of the clays, when you see coming up, like the red clay, is quite pigmented and it stains everything in its path. I think it's like Red Hot or something like that. I think the name of it. And so now I'm just going to put a piece of black just on the bottom, just to clean up that bottom of the, let's just pretend that this, like, it's not really popular these days, but to have a hearth, it's not as popular, so I'm just going to make it nice and clean with a black strip at the bottom. And then I just put some black underneath it just because it was kind of not the same thickness, so just so that everything is nice and the same width. Anywho, so then I just cut off all the excess black that I no longer need. And then I'm going to work on the fire. And so with the fire, I just chose to use some yellow and orange, and then I just mashed that together, and I didn't blend it too much so that there was, you could see the yellow and the orange within it. And I'm just going to roll it out a little bit. And then I'm just going to cut out like the shape of a flame. So with the fire, you can do whatever you want. If you wanted to add different colors, fire comes in all colors. If you want to make it more red, or you want to make it more yellow, or if you just wanted to make it one color. So then I'm just going to put that piece onto my fireplace, and I put it a little low, so I just brought it up because I'm going to put my first log, and that's going to go against the black first. So now I have some chestnut Sculpey. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm doing my best to remember the names. So I'm just going to make logs basically. And so I'm just making 2. So just create a cylinder and then place that underneath the fire. And I'm going to make another one, and I'm not going to make it as long, just so it looks like there's depth, if you know what I mean. And then I'll just place that on there. And I'm sorry if everything is completely upside down, but I'm using my DSLR and I don't really have a setup. I don't really know how I could figure out how to put the camera above me so that I can have all my work right side up. So, and it's kind of hard to work on things upside down as well. So I kind of need it to be, you know, the right way. But anyways, so now I'm just taking a ball tool and I'm just basically engraving the logs with some grains, and on the sides I just did like a little spiral, and then I did, you know, just lines, and once in a while I would put like a knot in the wood to make it look a little bit more realistic. So now I'm going to make the mantle. So I'm taking the same color clay as the wood, and I'm just going to make a long rectangle, but with some, I'm just going to curve the edges so they don't look so, I don't know, sharp. And I'm just going to cut that down to my size that I would like. And then I'm going to put that on, and I realized that it was a little bit too long, so I just cut down the sides a little bit. And because everything is in layers, the mantle is on top of the granite, so I just put some scrap clay underneath just to keep everything nice and level, because if not, then that part of the mantle will droop onto the black part. So we didn't want that to happen. So it's going to be, you know, it's kind of 3D. So every time you put a new layer, it's just going to create more depth to it. Okay, now we're going to work on the, we have some garland I put on top. This is the first time I made garland, and I'm not sure it exactly looked like garland, but I couldn't really find a better way. So I just I just rolled out a piece of evergreen. I'm going to say that's what it's called. So yeah, I'm just going to slice up a bunch of thin pieces, and then I cut a 1/4 of an inch piece, and the 1/4 of an inch piece is going to be the garland, and then those little tiny strips I'm going to cut those up in very, very small pieces and make those little, I don't know, leafy branches, whatever they're called. So this takes a little bit of time, so I sped it up for you guys. Okay, so I'm just putting little tiny pieces all over the whole entire thing. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to get my red clay. And make some little balls, and those will be the berries. I don't know what they're really called. Leave them in the comments below if you know what those berries are called, because I don't know right this second. Okay, and I'm just going to put that piece at the top of my mantle. So, kind of looks like one. I don't know. You guys tell me. Okay, so now we're going on to our red clay, and this is where we're going to make our stockings. And as you can see by my hands, they are absolutely horrible. And I'd almost recommend making the white parts of the stocking first, which it's a little bit difficult just because you want to, you know, size the white trim on the stocking to your, you know, to the stocking. But it is so staining, and it gets all over the rolling pin and the hands, and you have to scrub your hands and use soap and then scrub them again. And even after I did that and I went to go work with my white clay, I still got a little bit of red in it. And I had to wash the table too. Oh my goodness. I don't know, it's weird how some clays, like I've used many colors of Sculpey, and this one is by far the worst staining I've ever dealt with. It's like, did I get a bad batch or something? I don't know. But anyways, so I just took an X-Acto knife and I cut out shapes of stockings. There is no other way that I could figure out how to do this. This was the best way I thought. It looked the best. Yeah. So, and then I just took a tool and I sort of, you know, patted down the edges so they wouldn't be too sharp. So it was nice and rounded, and then I put the stockings in order from largest to smallest, and now I'm just going to put them onto the fireplace. And also, because this is in layers, I took some scrap red clay and placed that underneath the tips of, or the toes of the stocking, just so that they wouldn't droop down as well. So I went and washed my hands, and now I'm going to work with the white. And I'm just going to cut some rectangles that look like trim on the stocking. Okay, so if you're wondering where I got this cutter at Michael's as well. And the rolling pin is an acrylic rolling pin that I got from the baking section from, it's specifically made for fondant, but you can get it at Michael's or Walmart. They sell them just in the baking aisles. And they work very nicely. So there I have my stocking trims all in place. And then after that, I put some eye pins into the top, and I used my translucent Sculpey TLS. Yeah, that's what it is. And just stuck those on the top very carefully. So I just put a eye pin in each side, and then I used some split rings and attached a chain on it. I thought that it would look a little bit more nicer with a chain, and I had some chain on hand. So of course, if you don't have chain, you can use, you know, twine or whatever you have on hand. So I'm using triple thick, and I'm just going to coat everything that I think should be shiny. So I'm doing the granite and the black part at the bottom, the stockings and the what do you call it? The garland, and then the fire. And then I'm leaving the black behind the fire mat, and also the logs and the mantle. So I'm not putting any varnish on that. And then I'm just going to, I wrote the names out, and then I just put a little bit of a layer of triple thick on top of that just to protect it so the names won't rub off. And then that's pretty much it. So I hope that you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I have a ton of other tutorials. I'm just going crazy. It's Christmas time. There's just so much stuff to do that I just can't stop. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!